everybody. Please join me in welcoming Debra from Grow Your Light. Mm-hmm. She is the author of Decode Tarot and the author of the upcoming book, Decode Tarot. Hi, Debra.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited about this.
I am thrilled to be hosting you. Thank you for having your publisher send me an advanced digital copy, and links to Debra, the book, and all of that are below in the description. So please purchase responsibly, know your limits. Mm-hmm. We are here to share, not to sell. The book is currently, you can pre-order it on the Zon of Amma. Okay, and I'm very excited. I'm so excited to talk about this. So if I fan out a little bit, tough. I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
So I'm gonna take a drink to be able to capture myself.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And so this is the full title of the book is Decode Tarot: Mastering Meanings, Reversals, and Combinations. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, everybody, there you go. That's what it is. And surprise, I have lots of notes.
And we didn't go through the questions prior, so it just can be like deer in the headlights.
Yes,
it's entertainment.
Exactly right. Oh, here you go. For entertainment purposes
only.
Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. So, and I did say all of Debra's links are below. Mm-hmm. And so please show your support by subscribing to both of our channels. Do make sure that you are subscribed and that the bell is rung, because both of us actually do regular shows.
Yes.
So, and this is free for you, and we do it because we love it.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. So
yes. Oh, this is exciting.
Yes. So, Debra, please introduce yourself to everyone, and then we'll say hi to people who are watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm at growyourlight.com or debrazachau.com. And I do a myriad of things, but the tarot is something that I just loved. And years ago, maybe a decade ago, but it doesn't have to take you this long to learn the tarot, but it's just a process I went through. And that is, I wanted to be so good at the tarot that I didn't need a card to know what spirit wants me to say.
Oh.
I can shake someone's hand or sit next to somebody at a party, and spirit's going to give me a card in my mind, just how to approach that, how that person is going to filter information. And that's how I have it set up with my guides. Mm-hmm. And that's how you can set it. Now, you don't have to copy me, but this is my agreement with spirit. So it can happen all day long, right?
Yes.
As getting to know the tarot. Anyway, so Red Feather did publish the Decode Tarot, and it's on its second printing coming out at the end of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did not realize that. So that's the Decode Tarot, and I know a lot of people have that. And maybe, Debra, you and I we could have a conversation about this in the future.
Okay. Absolutely.
But there you go.
Absolutely. Yes. It went to Russia, bought the language rights for Clarity. So eventually I'll have a Russian deck with my words. That'll be fun.
Yes. And I do have to say, one of the things, spoiler alert, I got this deck, and what I really like about it is this little book, this little gem. Mm-hmm. Little gem. And it's one of those things that we'll just say that, and we'll save all of the other heaping praise in your general direction for a show.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to say about the second printing, because in the first printing, there's a section in the little book that says there's a timing method that I put out for there's a number on each major card or something like that. The printer did not put those numbers on, but it's just the numbers in any book, that type of thing. And then I went into those numbers will be there on the second printing.
Oh, so you're like talking like the high priestess is the 2.
Right. So that would be
present.
But just with any kind of tarot, it's just a signpost that you might enjoy. You can get the number 2 in many other ways.
Yes.
So it's not one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways. But one thing I know there's a lot of people who enjoy the tarot and a lot of other cards that say you don't need to know each and every card. And I am glad I know each and every card, because it's after that, then I can move things around and start getting more detail and more accuracy. So just saying, nothing's wrong with not knowing the cards and doing intuitive, but
yes. Well, and I am a firm believer there's multiple ways to read tarot.
Right.
One of the ways to read it is to memorize the meanings for the upright and the reverse. And every time you see it, that's what you regurgitate. There's also the intuitive aspect of it, to where you get there's something about it and it opens up for you. And then there's a third way, which is a combination of both of those, which support each other, which, as you talk about in the book Decode Tarot, you need to be paying attention to how you're communicating with the cards, the minors, the court cards, which I'm very excited to talk about, and the majors. So, thank you, Merita. This is lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And right now, I want to say hi to a whole bunch of people. And Bora is here. Hello, Jen Bowles, Sharon Sipe. Hello, Sharon. Great to see you. And
Danya Pez is here. Danya Pez.
We got Jenny Berlin, Hypnicity, Peace Mama, Plucky Heroine, who is including all of the best chatters, because for those of you who haven't been subscribed to TarotStache, I have all of the best chatters.
Yes.
Just saying.
And lurkers.
And if you want that, I can do that, because I have the best chatters, I have the work lurkers, I have the future lurkers, and the best lurkers. And one of the things that is really important is I think it's important that we're all playing around, because when we play around together, we learn a whole lot.
Yeah.
And all of us benefit. So, and Dawn, hello. And
hi.
Hypnicity said it's on my wish list, as did Peace Mama. Sherry, Laidler, hello. And then Dawn, yes. 3 Shifting Veils, great to see you. Thank you. Sherry, Voices from the Swamp is here.
Sherry.
So Hypnicity loves the deck, the Clarity Tarot.
Thank you.
And thank you, Denise. I try to be organized for each one. Susan Grigsby, hello. And Sherry said, I am loving your new book. Almost done with it, and I'll send my review to your agent.
Awesome.
So this is my review for the agent.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, video reviews are awesome.
So, and you have my permission to be, capturing all of the good stuff that we're saying about this deck. So
thank you.
And Jeff from Tarot Ask Backwards has the deck. So
thank you.
I can already tell this is going to take a lot of deep processing, and I need to add this to my playlist to rewatch. Thank you, Gerald and Debra.
Thank you.
Peace Mama, that's great. Here's the thing, though. With the book, you can read it at multiple levels. You can go in there and you can read, I need to find out about this. And then you can, you can read that, you can get and take it away. But then you can also go, you can read a little bit more once you have experience. And this book is going to add and support your own understanding and your own development with your relationship with tarot. I mean, is that fair, Deborah?
Yeah, I think I need you as my publicist.
Well, have them talk to me, because we are going to be talking about the Clarity Tarot as well.
Awesome.
So we're going to do that.
Thank you.
Nancy, Crohn's Intuition, has the deck and loves it.
Thank you.
Mousy is here. Kim Lee. Oh, Shuffles Like a Dream. Yes. So kids learn by playing, be a child. And you know what? Your book encourages people to explore and to be willing to see things differently.
Yes.
So, okay. So I could continue to say so much about this, but I do want, and Peace Mama says, I love the layers. Yeah. Lots of layers. And by the way, I don't know about you, Deborah, but sometimes I want surface. Because that's all I can handle, and that's all I want to process. And what I find, or what I found, is that there's, as I said, there's a lot of layers in your book, Decode Tarot. So, okay, I'm going to take a sip. What would you like to say, Deborah, about the deck?
The book. I did. This is a newer generation of the book that I have with the deck is one thing. The one change that I encourage people to move into once they learn, the basics, I guess, is this. The court cards I had layered as ages in the firm. That's the traditional way of reading court cards, is that if there is a knight, that means they're 18 to 40 years, or 40 years old, and 40 years old. That's right. Yes. And then from 40 on up is a king or queen. I am not doing that in this book. And what that is that if you have a page, it's someone younger than you. I can have, and a knight is a contemporary. So if I have an 80-year-old I'm reading, and we have a knight card, that's their contemporary.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. And then if it's older, let's say 80 years old, and we have a king or queen come in, that could be a banker, someone that has dominion over their life in some aspect. So that just backs you up a little bit to kind of take a different approach for the ages that come through.
And Peace Mama says, when does the book come out? The book is due out September 28th of 2024.
Yes.
So
it got delayed a month. It was supposed to be August, and then they called me and it was the 28th, 1 month later, September.
So I do want to, what I want to share is that, I am a lover of a good table of contents.
Oh, yes.
This has an exceptionally good table of contents.
Yeah.
And you also have readings in there. They're practical readings that you've done, and you show how what we're learning works out in a reading, and why.
Yes.
And why, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. So part 1 is mastering the minors. Part 2 is mastering the courts, which loved. Just want to say that I loved it. And then part 3, master the majors. So I absolutely loved that. I do want to point out something that caught me in your introduction, and I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Is the purpose of this book is to educate and empower. I do not guarantee that anyone following these techniques, suggestion, tips, ideas, or strategies will achieve particular results. However, if guidelines are followed, chances for success are increased.
Mhm. Yeah.
So use this information, use this knowledge to support you where you are.
Mhm.
And one of the things, if I'm going too fast, Debra, let me know.
No, no, no. I'm enjoying the
I'm heaping praise in her general direction.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that is really helpful is as we learn and we continue to grow, and I am a firm believer that if you're like me, you've been reading tarot cards for almost 30 plus years,
Mhm.
having, reading something and having go, huh, I hadn't thought of it like that. Or I don't agree with that because
And
it's a
that's
dialogue.
yes, I love that. I
Yes.
love that.
So, okay. So I did get a copy. I said, I got an advanced digital copy of it. I printed it out because that's how I operate. And I was telling Debra this backstage. I mean, so how many pages did I say? It's 173 pages. I printed it out, two per sheet. I read all of the pages in basically 2 days because it was so interesting. And I kept going, oh, okay. And I have to say, on singing praises to you, Debra, having had the pleasure of working with you and seeing you read online and reading with you,
Mhm.
this is just like sitting down with a cup of coffee over a table and getting a personal, private lesson that is supporting me.
That was my objective.
And you succeeded.
Thank you so much.
You
That's been so
succeeded.
exciting that I get that feedback because, writing a book or working on a project is a solitary gig.
Yes.
And you come out with these great one-liners or a whole paragraph that you just reread because it wasn't your words, it was spirit's words, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
And there's no one to say, looky what came through, right? And
Yeah.
so to have this, this is why I write, because if there's going to be something, I guarantee this part, there will be at least 5 things in this book that you're going to say, oh, that makes sense. Let me try it out and do another 10 readings with that in mind. And then at that point, adopt it as your style or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
you missed the last sentence to that intro. It's this book was not created by AI.
Oh, I did. Yes.
Not one word.
I
I'm
created
very
this
proud
book
of that.
without the use of AI. Not one word. I read that and I chuckled because I thought that was great. So the way this book is set up, as I mentioned, we start with the minors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I appreciate that because majors can be a bit overwhelming because they're majors. They're the archetypical messages. They're the exclamation points. They're the big picture things. And so starting with the minors, you go through all of the minors, the ace through the 10, and for every single card, you talk about how that card interacts with other cards and what that means and how you read it and how they influence each other.
Right. It's like a what do you call it? Stream of thought?
Stream of
on paper.
consciousness.
On paper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's
and it also helps, I think, I don't know if it came through, but it also helps to just have a blanket understanding just whenever, whether I don't care how experienced you are or not. There sometimes when I do a reading, the major cards are in the reading to say, think of this situation your client is giving you from the perspective of divine wisdom, not
Yes.
divine truth. Or, well,
Yes.
truth is subjective, divine wisdom is objective, so
Yes.
universal. So it's just like that.
Mhm.
It's like spirit just saying, think of it this way and see what comes of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Tom, Early Ritual, is here at work lurking.
I
And I
thank you.
appreciate you being here, Late Ritual.
I love that.
So as I talked about, you talk about each of the sections for mastering the minors, mastering the majors, and mastering the quartz. You give an introduction, and you do share your experience with how you developed your understanding, which is, I think, Debra, so very important, because you do share times when things, you were foggy about things and how you learned from it. And I want a teacher, I want to learn from someone who is willing to share when they didn't quite get it the way they get it now, and what was it that supported them. So
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm looking through my pages because so like I said, I read this in pretty much 2 days. I was reading stuff to my husband, Jeffrey, and you do talk about the suits and their personalities. And I will be honest with you that when I first started to read the suits and I was sharing them with Jeffrey, I was reading them and I was like going, yes, but there's something missing for me.
Yeah.
However, that being said, it's like, it's like when you finish the quarter, when you're taking a class and it's a quarter-long class,
right?
You get an understanding, and by the end of the book, I was like, well, that makes total and complete sense.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'm talking really fast and really loudly. More people are coming in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, and one of the things that I struggled with is that the wands, the swords, and the cups are not physical.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sort of getting, I'm taking 30 years of learning, and I'm like, all right, let's press pause on that. Let's put it, let's
love this.
That.
Love this.
And then we, as we go through and later, and we're talking about the pentacles, and we get there, and it's like, these are all things that you can hold in your hand. This is what is real. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. So,
did I write the thing about the guitar?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, the guitar is pentacles.
Yes, the guitar is the pentacles. Then you had something about
that was a good.
It was a very good,
way of doing it.
It was, but it makes a lot of sense to me, because for me, I think of all of the suits have, and you said this, all of the suits have an action about them. It's just, where is that action taking place?
Right.
And how does it interact in the world around them? So,
right. And that, that's a kind of a tough one for everybody, because we've got the slowest energy with the pentacles and the fastest with the wands. You can remember that because the wands usually have a little fire or something hot about it. And so if you touch something hot, it's without thinking, you recoil from that.
Yes.
So that's how fast it is. So if you're reading someone, if you're reading a couple who's had a fight, and my perspective is through the husband, let's say my client is the wife and the husband, I know, and I don't have to say it to her, I know that his quick to temper, if it's a court card, and that's him, it's he's quick to temper. And if he left the house, that's a safe way for him to resolve this situation. I think that in my head, but I don't have to tell her that.
Yes.
But Yeah.
That's a really good point, because I was like, as I was thinking about this, I'm like going, who's the audience of this book? And I'm going to ask you, Debra, who is the audience for this book?
Someone who wants to, well, the audience is anybody who wants to learn the tarot in a way that makes their talent unique, their abilities unique. I am not, what do they say? I'm not your guru or something like that. But it's like I'm offering things for you to try to develop on your own. Now, there's a lot of people who are getting into this that are retired, which is great. It's, if you wanted to go through that's great. But the people who want to know how to anticipate something, how to negotiate something in a way that they can understand it, it's like for them as well. You don't have to be you're striving to be an advisor and make money, but I always strive to be able to have the right combination of words who are in crisis and they can't find their feet.
Yes.
And the tarot gives me those words.
Yes. So I would say this is straightforward, and it is written for a beginning to an advanced reader. Yes. Everyone is going to get benefit from it. I would say it's the people in the middle of that who are comfortable using tarot, who are understanding their connection with it.
Yes.
And this is going to help them develop their relationship and rapport, in particular with the court cards and the minors, and then have an understanding of how the majors weave into that in support.
Right.
So it's very, very practical.
It is. And thanks for bringing that up, because I was going to say, it's for everyone, but and it is for everyone, but wherever you are with the tarot, it'll take you the next step at least.
Oh, if not farther. Yeah. I mean, girl, own the power that, okay, we'll just say it this way. Own the fact that you have created a tool that is going to help people come into their truth and in their understanding about the tarot.
Yes.
And Debra is not paying me to say that.
No.
And trust me, I would tell Debra if there were things that, and I've got a few things that I'm like going,
That is why I sent your name in and asked you for it, because to the publisher, because we're asking for review copy, to review. But I knew Gerald was the one that has this objective and isn't afraid of saying something that didn't mesh or something like that. I just love that about you. And another thing is that when you said something, I get excited when people like I do a reading, let's say, and what I would love to do is like do this reading and have my results, and then have someone else say, but I don't read it that way. And I get all excited. How do you read it?
Well, and you and I, Debra, when we've been reading together and you share about a particular card, and I say, well, I read it in a different way. And you're like, well, how do you read it?
Yes.
And so there is this beautiful exchange of uses and applications. Both of them are equally important, and both of them can help. And as a reader, I want to support people, because people who typically come to for a tarot reading, they're in a bit of a crisis. They need some support.
Yeah.
And so, in the book, you also give upright and reversed meanings, oftentimes in relation to other cards around it. So if a particular card is reversed, and it's put next to a 5, for instance, it means it can mean this. And so there's this beauty about that in application. And you're, because I've been appreciating reversals, and reversals just don't mean the opposite of upright. Right. No, there's many layers to it. And it's like some cards are better in reverse. The 5 of Cups is better reversed.
And the 10 of Swords.
and the 10 of Swords. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and thank you.
And even the Tower reversed. It's like, okay, you had that unexpected out of the blue change, and then you're on the other side of it, kind of. And now, as a caveat, I just want to say, because I don't want to alienate people or think this is going to be a hard read. If while you're reading a reverse comes up and you immediately know, oh, I get that makes sense, that's wonderful. But if you struggle thinking, oh, what does that mean? I read that somewhere, and how does that relate? Then don't read it at all. And you can question yourself. And I do this with my classes. I do it online in shows. I'll have something reversed. Is it really supposed to be reversed? I'm not sure. Let's make sure the other cards around it support that it should be reversed.
Yes.
So it gives you room.
Well, and it is one of those things that you are encouraging people to follow their connection.
Yes.
And to honor that. So, you also in the book are sharing readings and doing some readings. You talk about the Celtic cross and how that works, because it is really important. You really can't get a reading from just one card. I'm a firm believer that you need to have that card in context.
Yes.
And in that story. So there's that. Okay, I'm going to take a sip because
I have something to say about that. So I'll just go ahead and say, so here it is. So one of it is my girlfriend's cheating on me. That was one of the stories. And so I take you through what the information and frame of reference he gave me, right? And the thing is that when you do a throw, especially a Celtic cross, that is telling you that if nothing, because we change our life at the level of action, right?
Yes.
If everything stays the same, this is the most probable future.
Yes.
So I take a glance at that, and then I know what this person's next step will most likely be. All right, I know that. So I explain all of that. And then, but the thing is that during this half hour or 15 minutes or an hour I'm with this person, that perspective's going to change because of the information I'm saying, so it's a little baby course corrections with perspectives through the reading. And then by the end of the reading, I can throw down and see, oh, his next possible choice will be in alignment with what's actually better for him or her.
Yes.
So it's not like you throw the cards once and say, well, this is it. Your future looks pretty bad. But it's more like, okay, it looks like, and I think that everyone is intuitive, and people who reach out to psychics have a hit that maybe the path they're going on or the way they're thinking about things is not going to be in their best interest. And so they just want to double check like that. But I don't tell them, oh yeah, you're going in a bad direction. That'll be $100.
Right.
It's educating them, because people forget how powerful they are.
Yes. Well, and I like that. I am a firm believer that simply by asking the question, you are changing the energy around it and what could happen. So I think that's really very important. Something that I want to bring up that comes through in Decode Tarot is you are writing this as if the person reading it is doing readings for clients,
Yes,
not necessarily for themselves. So you get these great little tidbits of information. It's like when you see these cards on the table, it's information for you and how you can deliver the message so your querent can receive it in the best way.
Yes.
So I think that's very important. And and I'm also with you. I am a person who I don't start. I do pay attention as I'm pulling out a Celtic cross, what the cards are in the order that they're coming through, because they're telling me a story.
Exactly.
And then once all of the cards are laid down, I sit back and I take a breath and I'm like, all right, you all are together now. What's the energy you're giving me? So
I love that. So, you know, I did write this for the Busy Advisor. I was just going to publish it with that market because when I'm a hotline, you know, there's one call after another type of thing. And you don't know you're too tired to do the next reading until you're into the next reading.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And so I have learned how to serve that client well and separate myself from being tired, because there's signposts in everything. Let's say you're doing a reading or at an event. A lot of people will just starting out would go to a birthday party and do an event. So let's say you're at an event, you're being timed. You throw the cards down and you go blank, right? And that will happen. I don't care how good you are.
It always happens.
That will always happen. So you can go ahead and gather the cards up and just rethrow. I mean, until you get until you get into a path to get you into the room of knowing. But what I suggest, instead of wasting that kind of time, is just notice what suits are favored.
Yes.
So if the suit is heavily pentacled, you know, then you know that this person is just grounded in a rut, right? That's what it tells you. So it just, and then the different suits, if it's swords, heavy in swords, this person might be in there. And that's all you have to do to detach from, I'm so tired, or I don't have the answer, I don't know how to phrase this. And then once you're in the room of knowing, you know, nothing matters.
I like that, the room of knowing, because it does go back to the wisdom that's available. And for me, it also says, it's like, okay, what is the true north of this reading? When you notice the suits, because that tells you, all right, here's a lot about what this reading is about. So that helps me and it supports me. A couple of people, by the way, the best chatters are still bringing it. Thank you all for being here. And Earthstar 1 said, I love Debra's classes.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that.
And Kim has also agreed with you.
Thank you, Kim.
So, and links to all of Debra's information is below in the description. So
thank you. Yeah.
Do your stuff, explore. So, and you do a regular show on Friday with someone
with
whose
Lily.
name escapes me. Okay. And so, I mean, subscribe to her channel because she's typically simulcasting. And I think what is really wonderful is you get to see her experience in action and the energy that comes through her and the supportive approach that you want people to have when they get a reading with you.
Thank you for that. And that's the thing that I think out loud in words when I do a reading, because I know so many people are learning or want a new aspect or a new opinion. There's going to be maybe one, maybe two cards in the deck that you do not have a relationship with, or it make you feel uncomfortable. I had a card betray me like that. And and in a very big way. And so I had to get on the other side of that. But, and I did that by asking other people how they interpret it and, things like that. So
And
that's a good way to do it.
That is a wonderful way to do it, because you're not in this book, Decode Tarot. You're not trying to make people duplicates of you at all. You're trying to do the opposite. You're trying to give people tools, and you're trying to give a visual artist paint and brushes and canvas. You're trying to give the quilter fabric, a sewing machine, and thread, so that they can create what they want.
Exactly, because I want them to be better than me, better than what I can bring. In fact, I did this show, and the 7 of Pentacles came up, and I said what it meant to me. And then a viewer sent in her description, and in the comments I said, "Oh my God, I love that." I mean, it was so concise and beautiful, and I just admire that. And I want people to remember how incredibly important they are on the planet and how powerful they are.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So part 2 of this book is Mastering the Court Cards. And you start off with the traditional overview of the court cards, which there are, a lot of what we get with tarot is because it's been around for so long and nobody knows the origin. There's this general understanding of what it means. And those are pretty solid. I love it when someone like Debra comes in and says, here's how I see the court cards. Yeah. And it's so interesting. And it's just about, and here you go. Mastering the court goes in depth with each personality type and identifies their superpowers as well as their kryptonite.
Yes.
Because, and while learning the different personalities of each suit, try to align a person to the personality described.
Exactly.
And so that's really powerful.
Yeah, and I wanted to also explain that the court cards, like the Knight of Wands, just the contemporary Knight of Wands, and in different parts of life, is he a CEO of a company and managing a meeting, or is he part of the meeting? And so they react in 2 different ways. And if you get into an argument with a person in that business, in that forum, then don't worry yourself about if they hold a grudge. It's like, next. The ones like fleeting.
Right. Well, and you've also set it up to where you start each section with, like, for instance, mastering the wands courts. And by the way, she starts you with making sure you actually have a tarot deck and not an oracle deck. And then she tells you how to separate the cards out to help you use the book in the best way. And one of the things that you do that I appreciate is you give people and characteristics that you think live in the wand family. And these are people who are very contemporary, and they are, and then they're more established people like Lucy Ricardo and I Love Lucy.
Oh, that's right. I put all those names in there. I forgot.
Yes. And so, and Bruce Lee, and you listed specific movies in which they did this, like Beyonce belongs in that. And so as you go through these, you get this, you get this, oh yeah, I can see that. And then it also encourages you to go, like, for me, I'm not going to use Bruce Lee. I know of Bruce Lee, but I don't know Bruce Lee. But it's fun that way. So
it's going to be, as long as you can, if you know Bruce Lee and you know his fast kicks, wands.
Oh yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. And Earthstar 1 said, yes, Jared, once you see a person in the cards, you don't forget that
That's
card. I
right.
love that. And somebody also said something, by the way. Oh, Susan said, congratulations on
Oh,
the
thank
book,
you.
Deborah.
Thank you, Susan.
And MLR came in and said, Celtic crosses are too analysis paralysis making for me.
Oh, let me explain.
Please do. Please do.
So, oh gosh, the Celtic cross gives you, the advisor, enough information. What's going on right now, what brought them into that situation, what their best guess, what's their next step, what's their best guess, and then how they feel about them. So, I mean, oh my gosh, like the Celtic cross, what if there was a moon, the moon on the inside, sun on the outside, like on the cross, the uppers? That means, it doesn't mean that that person's lying to the world.
No.
It means they're struggling with putting on the happy face.
Yes.
On the outside. So you can get into the emotional state of them. Do you have to read that to them? No paralysis. It's life saying, look, Spirit is saying, look, she's been struggling with this. It would be helpful if you acknowledge that we see this in her,
Yes.
see this struggle in her life. And that's when I look up and I say, Spirit is saying, and I feel in there. I don't say because the moon is here and the sun is here, and I don't say any of that. Spirit is, and a lot of times with any kind of reading, Spirit, it's like Spirit will say, tell her she's doing well. So here's all these kind of, I don't feel good about myself. And then we've got the 6 of Wands, feeling pride and excitement. Yep. And it's that. Now, does that mean she's feeling that? No, it means Spirit is saying, we see your effort.
Yes.
We see your effort. And
yes.
So, yeah, oh, I got chills right now. So Spirit is really close. but Spirit will talk to you. So if you feel that you're the only one and that the information coming is in a narrow way, then you'll get kind of paralysis. But if it's like one card is speaking to you as the advisor, the next card might be information for your client.
Yes.
And this book will tell you like how to recognize that.
And this book does a nice job of that. And I like how I thank you for using the word advisor.
Yes.
Because throughout, Decode Tarot, you are looking at this, you are reminding people, you're advising people who are reading tarot. They are advisors.
Yes, they are.
All of the cards that are on the table are for you, the advisor, to convey a message.
Mm-hmm. And it's a big responsibility. I'm going to jump in a little bit here because, and everyone can relate to this, I'm confident, because whenever you go to a psychic or anything, even if it's at a carnival, even if it's at a birthday party and it's all free and someone's just practicing, let me practice on you. Mm-hmm. I don't care what it is. If you're the client or the person's receiving the reading, your heart is open in a very specific way, in a very unique way. And it can be all great things with one little caveat. Well, be careful driving. I don't know why people say that, but be careful driving. And that's all you think, well, what would happen if I drove today? I have to go to work. Oh my God. You see what gets into someone's mind? And I want to teach how to avoid that.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. You are also through the book sharing mediumship information as a way to support that connection. Yes. And, as for me, I do readings, links are below if you want to get a reading from me. I have for a long time showed everybody every single card and what it means in each position. And I think one of my takeaways from this is like going, I don't need to share each and every single card. I need to share what's the message that's coming through. So
right.
And,
right. I think that frees you up from that. What does she call it? Analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis. Okay. So I am just like going, I'm loving all of this. So,
Glad.
so we get to part 3, which is mastering the majors.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a different approach with the majors. Well, not a different approach. You look at the majors as your divine counsel.
Mm-hmm.
And that is made up of guardians, teachers and mentors, guides, and angels.
Yes.
Could you say a little bit more about that? Because that's the divine counsel. I like that.
Yes, I'll tell you, your guides, spirit guides, and your spirit guides have souls and have a lot of experience um, in their lifetimes, many lifetimes. But they're the clipboard people, I call them, because it's like the going into the Akashic records. It's okay. It's time to do this. It's time to do that, and
Check.
yeah, exactly.
That's me. Yes.
And you'd come to them saying, my guides, I'm so scared. I'm so mad. I'm so whatever emotion. And they're just there with their clipboard saying, well, choose.
Yeah. Now
We
what?
can't go anywhere. We
Yeah.
can't guide you anywhere until you choose. So that is, so they're to the point. I like that. I talk to guides because I like that to the point stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the guardians are not very talkative, but they will, and angels will lean you towards the good. So
Yes.
you have to be sensitive to that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the guardians and the angels. They're they are helping and supporting and suggesting in a way that I need to be paying attention. It's like they're the guardrails on the side of the highway when I'm going up this mountain called life.
Right.
And so that's really beautiful.
Yeah. So my theory is that angels do not have souls and never have had lifetimes. They are thoughts from God, the active thoughts from God. So when you're driving around, needs Archangel Michael or something like that, that is a placement, that is a job description that any angel can fill with that power of definition. So that's kind of how, now you do have your guardian angel that's just with you all the time, but these angels come and go. But they don't assert themselves on their own.
I love that. Angels are active thoughts from God. And it sort of goes to that also, that great phrase that somebody famous said, we change our lives at the level of action.
Not the level of wishes.
Yes. And B.A. Haven is here and said, so interesting. B.A., I agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, so the majors, gosh, we're at 53 minutes. And so in the majors, you go through and you do a very nice job of giving us the which one it is, where they are in the council. Are they a guardian? Are they a teacher, a mentor? Are they a guide? Or are they an angel? And through the telling of this, and by the way, I did read a couple of sections to some friends.
Good.
Because of it, it was really interesting. And it's like, I'm going to read the High Priestess one. May I?
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
This beautiful being is the guardian of your intuition, a beautiful gatekeeper I call upon to attend every reading I do. She can see every step of the future, but will give you only enough information about the next few steps towards success. The message is to trust your gut, not your heart. She is pointing to the fact that extreme emotion isn't the state you want to be in when needing to make decisions. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, it's great. I mean, so there's these lovely gems, and I know we have some questions that you want to answer, and I liked your perspective on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes, that's a very important, I think,
Yeah. And, you know, and because the Wheel of Fortune sometimes gets a bad rap, but it shouldn't get that bad rap, because it's what happens, and things change. And I think it's in the name of the card. It's fortunate. It's helping us to find that next great thing. So, and you know, and look, everybody, I mean, seriously, I was highlighting, underlining, and all that good stuff. So, you get into the hanged man, or the hanging man. You talk about death and temperance, which is, you know, I'm not going to read that, but I want you to, could you talk a little bit about the Devil and the Tower? Because those are oftentimes the cards that, as a reader, when I see that, I go,
oh,
and,
really? Oh, gosh.
So, but you know, it's because how am I going to convey that to the person?
Well, a lot of times, this is how I would do it. A lot of times when the Tower comes in, I look if there's a lot of swords next to it or something. They go, oh my God, catastrophic thinking. It doesn't mean something's going to come out of the blue and knock you over. It just means that's your perspective. So therefore you're opening yourself up to just, you're so frenzied that, you know, you get a flat tire and oh my God, that's your Tower, you see. So there's different degrees. It is true that Tower energy is something from the outside coming in. It is, but the Devil is the inside coming out. So it's your obsessive compulsive behavior. Or the impulses for that. So wherever the Devil is, if I have the Sun and the 10 of Cups and, you know, all of that stuff around it, the Devil kind of spits on that. So let's say the 10 of Cups is there. And the 6 of Cups, you know, we're going to a family reunion and I've got the Devil in there. It's nothing I need to warn anybody about. I just want to advise that person at the reunion. You may feel a compulsion to speak your mind or take up a topic that isn't appropriate at the time. It's fine if you do, but what Spirit is saying here with the Devil, with all this stuff, you know, is that it's just obsessive compulsive. Somebody's going to trigger you. And that's going to happen at your family reunion or the picnic for the business or something like that. Someone's going to trigger you. Don't fall for it. That's how I do it. Yeah. I
think that's so very important. And I appreciate how one is the inside coming out and one is the outside going in.
Right.
I did have to write this down. I said, I am adding something to my meaning that you talked about with the star. And okay, where is it? Okay. As poetic as our star card is, you will find she is not grounded at all. And I am like going, I really like that, because suddenly you take this energy, you have to do something with it or it's going to fleet away. So thank you for that. I just wanted you to know, I wrote this down and I'm like going, oh, I've got to tell Debra that I'm adding that to my memory.
Yes, I like that.
Because it's one of those things of is, you know, it makes me think about it in a way of, oh, if it's not grounded, then it can't come to fruition. And so now what do you do with it? So.
Right. There's a little something else I just want to feel like I want to bring up is that if you have I love the Devil card. So if you want to, you know, you go back and just kind of take an overall look at the throw. And if there's a lot of majors in it, and let's say there's a seven of Cups, which means a lot of options without all of them being based in reality. And so what it could be saying, I'm not saying, you know, this is absolute, but what it could be saying is Spirit is saying this person is so spiritual, she's of no earthly good at all. In other words, she's not grounded at all.
Yeah.
It's not saying anything's bad with the person. It's just that she's striving for the metaphysics, and you can go into that. I have discovered, this isn't in the book, the higher you go into metaphysics and into the majors, the more, the less cut and dry you get. Because, and we're living on the planet Earth, and I love to bring it down. Whatever they have to offer is great, but it's got to be useful, like a clipboard person. Right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's
Very
got to
true.
be useful.
Yeah. Yeah. The last thing that I want to talk about, because we're at an hour, can you believe that?
I love that.
I'm so excited. But one thing that I appreciate is because how I learned, one of the ways that I learned about the major arcana is the major arcana is the Fool's Journey.
Yes.
And at the end of mastering the majors, you go through all of the cards and explain how they relate to each other.
Yes.
And I mean, in that, if people haven't considered that before, it's beautiful. And it shows how it's a growth and an evolution.
Yes.
To that. So thank you for that.
Thank you for recognizing that part.
Yes. And because it also can help us when we notice that, and if we choose to include that in our understanding and our application when we're reading, it can help tell the story that is going on for the person and how the cards relate to each other. Because, and so that's important. So
many options on how to read that.
Yes. And so it's really wonderful. You had also, Debra, you had wanted to talk about the 5-card yes/no spread and why the Devil and the Tower cards are yeses in your deck.
Yeah, this is more of the deck because I do the 5-card draw a lot. Yes, no. So there's a little Y and a little N on each card of my deck. Right. And so you put an odd number down. I do 5. And if there's more N's, then the answer is no. Why? The answer is yes. But it will tell you why it's yes and why it's no. So it doesn't mean that it's an absolute yes or no. It means that Spirit is saying, yes, she's doing fine. Just keep going the way you're doing. You're going to have help down the way, blah, blah, blah. Or if it's no, it doesn't mean that goal is not going to be met. It just means the cards in the reading is going to tell you why it's not going to be met in the timeline they are thinking about. And they don't have to tell me as an advisor their timeline. The tarot will do that. Right. But also, I just took up different things to put little theories. When you master something and it gets a little bit stale, and then you add another layer. Well, let me do this or that. That's what I did with that. So all of the major cards are yes. Even the Tower and the Devil are yes. That's in every deck. You can write this down and use it in your own deck. You do not need my deck for it. And it is this: all major cards and all even numbered cards are yes. All the court cards and the odd number cards are no. So you could just use your own deck and go with that theory just for fun. Just for fun. See if it works for you.
And I think it's important that people, because when I first got the Clarity Tarot, I was looking at something and I'm like, how is the Tower? Yes.
Yes.
And then I heard an interview with you, and it's probably in the book, and I hadn't read the book, but it's like, oh, that makes complete sense because I'm thinking about this differently if I'm doing yes or no spreads.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay. So you are the amazing author of Decode Tarot, Mastering Meanings, Reversals, and Combinations. What do you hope people will take away from this book, Debra?
Oh, I want to have this book enable someone to meet their goals, no matter what they are. And to take what I have said, claim it, try it out first, because if it's true to you, this theory I'm giving you will make sense and fit in every scenario.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit in every scenario, it's not working for you. Just set that aside. Go to the next one that inspires you. But after that, use it as your own, because we're all very unique. You'll take a few things from me, a few things from Gerald, and then some book you've read, or it'll be something like that. And then you mix that with your own life experience, and you've got someone who can serve the world well.
That's incredible. I also want to add, I encourage people when they are doing readings for other people to write down what the cards are and date it, because then you can go back and look at it and you can use that as a learning tool. I use it as a learning tool because I'm like going, if I do a paid reading for somebody, I'm writing all of the numbers down so that I have them, because if something doesn't feel right, I can go back and look at it, because I'm evolving just like everyone else is. And I want people to read for me who are evolving and growing. So
right. And I know that as advisors, we don't want to ask questions of our clients, but how you can get around that, if you have you learned something from me or somebody else and you want to put it into action, but you're not quite sure, you're not really convinced that this could mean what I say it means. What you do with that is say, some people are of the theory that this particular combination means XYZ. Do you find that to be true?
Yep.
And you'll get tons of feedback, and that's how you learn how to read.
Yes. Kim Lee said, love that message. Then you've got someone who can serve the world
well. Yes, thank you, Kim. Yes.
Yeah. And Debra, what's your next project?
So I am working on some audiobooks. You know why? Because there's going to take I'm doing the majors right now, and I'm going to have it in Spanish as well. But you know why I'm doing that? Because I loved audiobooks. And whenever I have an audiobook that has anything to do with numbers or tarot, I can't sleep when I listen to it. I'm just so excited about it. And so that's sort of what I wanted to share is I'm doing that. And then the courts are next. And, I'll see how far it goes, but it'll also, it's something that you can listen to in the car or doing the gardening or something, and thinking, oh, that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Dawn. So we've had amazing people who have come in and have supported us. In particular, talking about Decode Tarot, the new book by Debra Zachau, scheduled to be released on September 28th. 2024. And here you go. Purchase responsibly, know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell. You may be able to get this book from your library.
Yes.
And you also have the Clarity Tarot. The second edition is going to be coming out in 2025, you said?
Yeah, it'll be at the end of this year, beginning of next, something like that.
Okay. And just because this is actually one of the first times that I've done a specific book review, I do want to say that this book is TarotStache approved.
I love that. Oh, wow.
So TarotStache approved. And, and what's wonderful about it is, again, as I've said, it's easy to read, take it in chunks, use it in multiple ways. It would be one that if I'm recommending to people tarot books that they might want, this would be one that I would encourage them to use, and I would be able to give very specific reasons for that.
Thank you so much. Oh,
There you
this
go.
means the world to me. You know, like I said, when you know, it's like writing is a solitary gig, and yes, the publisher liked it and produced it, and now you are here saying all of that was worthwhile. That
It
year
was
of writing.
worthwhile, and
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
that.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got a lot of benefit out of it, and I would encourage people to explore it. And I can't wait for the final copy to come out, because, you know, I've got all sorts of marks in mind. So I'm like going, ooh, this is really helpful. So,
Oh, thank you so much.
this would, of course, you know, this would definitely be a book that is on my list of, you know, when I teach classes, people are, oh, what books do you recommend? This is one. So, you know,
I'm honored.
So,
Absolutely honored. Thank you.
Absolutely true. So, anything you'd like to say to people before we head off, and then we can schedule a time for us to get together and do something live with people.
Right. Oh, awesome. 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 That'd be great. Say, you know, if you just want to learn from me, I don't do formal classes, but I do the membership classes. So twice a month for Learn Tarot with me, and twice a month with Learn Tarot and Numbers. And it's really whatever you bring, whoever you are, how far along you are or not, you come in and I'll give you the next steps, that type of thing. So I'd be happy to do. That's all the lessons that but I do one-on-one lessons as well, you know. So,
and that's wonderful.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Debra, thank you for letting me have, you know, an hour and a half of your time.
Oh, wow.
It's absolutely delightful.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, and we will see everyone later. Please do take care. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.